wheelchair, and they go, "Is there any way you can help us?"
Wheelchair.
I'm talking about the story of Connor and the glitter incident.
Oh. Okay. Okay. I can't take that right now. I can't.
Should I repeat for posterity's sake, or should we move on? I would say probably move on.
I think we can just keep it moving.
Mm. That was going to be one hella inappropriate sex joke anyway.
Okay. All right. Looks like Christy's trying to make some things happen again. Christy says, I'm going to spend another 20,000 rep to give them another 5 potions, 1 each. Cure crits, again, to each of you.
Neato.
Yay!
Oh, never mind. She said this time she's only dropping 4 since Annie's not here to collect. Yeah, because fuck that guy and his job.
Fucking getting money.
I know.
Bastard.
Man, that's it's work, I guess. Can't be mad at money, I suppose.
It was a cure crit, correct?
Yes, cure critical.
I have a lot of cure crits.
God, I can imagine now. Jacob's actually going to look at his backpack and be like, "Oh my God, the fuckers breed!"
At least once a session. Yes, that's right. All right, guys, let's go ahead and get a recap in. Let's talk about the things that happened last time. It was pretty interesting. Came to a bit of a focal point, a head, if you will. So let's talk about that. What happened last time?
We ended up finding out that the Blue Duke ended up catching up to Klaus. He ended up getting spotted as he was trying to fly over the city to reach help for Jakob, who had been stabbed with a very unusual blade. Upon being seen, the guards made chase, ended up catching up to him, essentially in the same spot that we were, and decided that he had to temporarily opt out of the situation, which is when the Blue Duke approached us. When he did, he told us to go with him. We said no, we have someone that's hurt.
Yeah.
He wasn't having none of that nonsense, and he was like, "You guys need to move, or there's gonna be problems," essentially. And he started getting ready to cast the spell, and when he did, Ulhime stood in front of him and didn't back down. So as the situation got heated, Klaus was like, "Nah, fuck this. We're not gonna have that." And then came out of hiding. He was on top of the church roof, correct?
He was just around. He said he wanted to go to just a roof.
You were on a rooftop, right? Yeah. He was on the roof. He was on a So he ended up coming down, and that's where the Blue Duke told him that you need to come with us. Jared Scalaran's looking for you.
Okay. We'll get back to you.
We'll go with Klaus from there.
Yeah, we'll get back to you there. What happened next? Who wants to take it up aside from Xander?
I think Klaus should.
All I can say is I bled a lot.
He did bleed a lot.
You're not wrong.
It was like full on anime style, just
Yeah. Let's go ahead and start with Klaus, since I think the next part of the story was primarily about him anyway. So let's go ahead and start with Will. Will, go ahead and tell us about what happened last time.
The fucking soldiers are dicks. Jared's a dick. Everybody's dicks.
Entire guard. They're all just dicks.
Essentially, Jared sent for me because he couldn't think of a better way to find me because he had failed to find me previously. So he put up wanted posters with my face on them. My faces, I should say.
Yeah.
And the guard insisted on escorting me to Jared himself rather than, allowing me to just go. Wasn't in any trouble, just, the guard had to escort me. So I arrived a little angry with Jared, but before I actually got to see him at the guardhouse, Kiana was on her way out as I was on my way in.
Yeah.
She bumped into me. I got a vision of basically a demon, what I assume is like enthralling or influencing her. I don't have any proof to that necessarily, other
Sure.
than what I saw. But she does seem a little bit more hostile than usual. So I kind of shook that off as best I could and went up to talk to Jared. And we had a decently long conversation about how things are pretty fucked around here.
You guys had some words.
Yeah, we had a few.
Let's just give me one thing, and we'll kind of pass this around, because there were a lot of things talked about.
Disappearances of notable townspeople, both groups that I knew had disappeared previously,
Yeah.
and those I hadn't, specifically Keegan Gelb,
Yeah.
I had no idea, but he is now disappeared.
Keegan has gone missing. All right, Austin, Sunn, give me something else that he said. Anything else that
He's
he
Cort.
talked about?
The biggest thing I remember actually was Keegan Gelb being on the list of missing people.
Yeah, well,
That and along with all of them being his bodies, and Will already took that from me.
He's also not playing Sunn. He's playing Cort.
That too. Sun's busy looking at
potato. I'm talking to Austin right now.
I mean, there was the various issues of everywhere we went, people died. That was one of the other brought up points, if I remember correctly.
Like what? What exactly? Is there a specific place?
Everywhere.
Nothing.
I don't think there has been a place where we haven't had bloodshed.
Biggest
there was-
ones would be the tavern and the bathhouse.
Yeah, those are big ones, but now we actually have the bathhouse because Jared has realized that everywhere we go, shit gets fucked up. So we should probably have a place that we can fuck up that's on our heads. Essentially. At least
Yeah,
that's...
he also said it's also harder to break stone than it is wood.
That's
so.
right.
Yeah, so he
A
put
lot
us in the-
harder to burn it too.
Yeah.
That's right.
Used to be a lot of our issue.
So he gave us over the will to that. So now
All right.
we have a headquarters.
So you
eventually.
have the deed to the bathhouse.
Yeah.
You know, the people have gone missing. Awesome. Sniper, give me something else that he talked about. Something that he thought was important enough to mention.
Well, let's see. He did mention, the whole hubbub going on down at the tip tankard. But I think somebody already mentioned that. He did mention doorknobs, briefly.
Mm-hmm.
A few clanked on the floor while they had their heated conversation.
And he also mentioned that the Blue Duke isn't as bad as everyone makes him out to be, so stop giving him such a hard time. He's kind of doing a necessary task. But yeah, that's pretty much all I got. I mean, that was definitely more Klaus. I paid almost no attention.
It seems you're not the only one. Can anybody else give me any other details? Go for it. Hit me with it, Klaus. Hit me with it, Will.
There are some sort of Gregorian monks that walk around at night with doors strapped to their backs.
Mhm.
And they haven't really caused any trouble yet necessarily, but people are being advised to kind of stay away from them. They just kind of got that leery look about them, and they
Spooky,
they give off a bad vibe
Give off
in
that
general.
that bad juju vibe. Yeah.
Yeah, something like that. In addition to that, the Last Laugh is operating basically in plain sight in the middle of the day. In every public street there is, they're just kind of doing their business as they please now, as opposed to in the shadows as they were previously. And the other, I guess, large point would be the money that was left to Griffith by Cicada is now
With Griffith still?
potentially up for
Available.
grabs. Yeah, Griffith is really rich now. He's come into a lot of money, so he doesn't necessarily need Cicada's charity anymore. So Jared had brought it up to us as potentially benefiting from the remainder of the funds.
Yeah. Which, I mean, to you guys at this point, a few thousand gold may not be super substantial, but to a commoner, that's life. You just made a
That's-
commoner's life.
That's enough to fund a bathhouse renovation. Ayo.
Potentially, yeah. There was one other major thing, something that was brought up that it primarily fell on Cort's shoulders. Jared asked one specific thing. Being that he's a Skellerang, he's looking for a Skellerang.
His father's body had been
exhumed.
Yeah, I knew it had been missing previously. Did he mention that it had been spotted, or at least there were reports of it being spotted around town?
Nope.
Like somebody walking around?
He just knows that it's out of the grave.
Yeah, must be misremembering that. I think he asked me if I had taken, or he didn't know if I had taken over his father's body. It was one of his concerns in trying to bring me around.
God, if you ever, like, if you die in this corpse and it goes to that one, can you please pretend to walk in there and be like, Son! I am alive! Dad? Ah, fucking with you.
It's me.
God damn it.
No, if you're gonna do it, you better do it right. Just walk in. Son, father, you are a disappointment to me.
Damn, that sounds like that hits a little too close to home.
Maybe.
And this is why we're all role-playing on a Wednesday night. Disappointments to our fathers all around.
Yay!
All right. So there were still a lot of details about his father that was kind of, I don't know if it was necessarily misremembered or forgotten, but you guys always have the chance to go back and visit the graveyard.
Correct.
Remember, there are several places inside of Cauldron where you can bury the dead, but this was a very specific graveyard meant for influential people.
It was completely caged off. It was like the Skellerang's mausoleum or crypt kind of thing.
Well, it was actually for all of the originator families.
That's
the main
right,
families
that's
that
right.
actually created Cauldron.
That's a good point to remember there. That's useful information for a lot of reasons. So since last session, I've had quite a few people approach me and like, oh God, is this happening now? Are these details finally coming to light? What does this mean? Who is this person? What is this body? Like, so many questions are coming up, but we can go past the events with Klaus right now and go directly over to what happened at the Wee Apothecary everything.
That would be you guys. I was unavailable at that last part.
Well, Ronald had argued a bit with the dude who stabbed Jacob. And then they kind of reached a standstill, realizing that the man was not stabbing Jacob out of any ill will towards Jacob. He had not been personally wronged. But for a
Yeah, I was about to say there was a lot of fucking ill will behind that.
No, he said specifically, like, I don't hate you, but like, you're the one who caused this big thing that fucked up his religion. Even if it's not you, killing you is kind of what he's supposed to do regardless. He's not the one making the judgment, he's just doing it. He's the dude being told by the manager, hey, go do this, and he goes, alright. He's just a really faithful employee.
Worst comparison ever.
But it's not wrong.
No,
Loyalty.
it is wrong. Religion and employment are two very different things, let me tell you.
Not wrong.
You're
not wrong about that, yeah.
Me being Cort and Thelsa, we were basically unsure who to trust, whether we should trust the demon who apparently caused the apocalypse crashing down heaven, or we trust the man who just stabbed him in broad daylight. Well, nightlight, I guess.
No,
Nighttime?
it was daylight.
Was it? Okay. So yeah. So we're quite unsure who to trust, because he doesn't seem like that bad a guy. He's not like walking around the streets Jack the Ripper style.
You just shaped my friend, but you don't seem like that bad a guy. A real stand-up sort, you know?
Where were you last session? Fucking bleeding out? Couldn't back me up? You son of a bitch.
And going off of that point right there,
Yeah.
Klaus was not happy with the fact that me and Thelsa had removed his restraints and had been feeding him. When he had come back to the Wee Apothecary after his encounter with Jared, he was quite upset with us.
Can't
Walking
imagine
and
why.
slapping the food to the ground, and then proceeding to yell at him. and basically telling us like we're insane for letting him sit there and not treating him like a prisoner. Which, not a bad idea.
Yeah.
But at the same time, he doesn't seem like he's like gonna stab Sunn or something while he's operating.
He seems like a real legit dude. I mean, yes, he stabbed that one guy one time. But he's so pretty.
Okay, hold on. If we're going by that logic, we're gonna have a lot of characters.
Not the same. Let me stop you before you even finish that thought. It's like, he said he wasn't going to stab us, so I trust him, because he totally walked up and said, I'm going to stab you, Jacob.
But that was all religious differences.
Yeah.
Because, he's...
You're a demon!
Tiefling. Totally different.
You're a half demon!
My daddy was a demon.
We did round out with Austin meeting Naptatoran again, correct?
There was a fun instance where they had decided the entire time we were arguing what we really needed to help Jacob was for Jenya to come and help us. So we had sent one of the guards to go get Jenya. And when he had come back, he basically had Jenya in his arms. He knocked on the door and Will used open clothes on it, opened it. He ran in carrying her like burnt body, and a whole bunch of guards had been running around. Turns out the church had been lit on fire. And it wasn't just petty arson. And so what had happened was Cort had decided to follow the guards and immediately run out to go help. I believe everyone else stayed, right? Or no, Sunn came with. Sunn followed to help with the fires, but then eventually came back to help treat Jenya and everything.
Yeah, because she was Korean barbecue style, and Mr. Shanky Shank decided he was going to go ahead and do some lay on hands on her.
Yeah, and that was further proof that he wasn't that awful. He healed her to at least bring her back from the brink of death. And he didn't stab you while healing her. That's improvement. So, Cort has arrived at the church, seeing it completely consumed by the flame. And as he looks at the doorway to the church, a man steps out as the fire parts around him, if I remember correctly, or does he just step over it? Either way, walks.
It lowers.
Yeah,
and
so he steps like it parts for him.
As he passes through, he lifts it back up again.
Yeah, and then he basically a whole bunch of guards try to rush him, and he just kind of goes no. They just kind of turn to ash. Some of them turning completely to ash. Some doing that like Indiana Jones crystal, the whatever it is, the crystal
Temple
skull one where, or was it Temple of Doom?
Nope.
No.
You're both wrong.
Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Yep, that's the one.
They basically that scene with the melting. It was a mix. Both of them happened. And then he had walked up to Cort. Cort asks, "Is there anyone left alive in the church?" And he says, "No." And then he basically, as he walks past and does the nothing personal kid, almost, he says, "Say hello to my son for me. Tell him Nabs the Torrens in town." And
you make him sound like such a fucking anime villain.
Then he puts his fingers on his head and he instant transmissions out.
I hate you in real life.
I'm guessing that's where the session ended.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so yeah, that's where we're at, everybody.
There were some more details, but
Yes.
Austin's an idiot.
How the fuck do you make an epic reveal like that awkward?
And awful, for that matter.
No, fuck it. Red is now Jacoby from now on. That's his new name, Jacoby.
I don't know why, but alright.
Whenever you're ready, Bubs. Let's get this started.
No, oh god. Oh god.
Can you
You
summarize
could-
it any bit better at all?
That's how I remember it. So if anyone else would like to summarize better.
As he was walking
Yes.
past Cort, sorry, I almost said Sunn there. As he was walking past Cort, he basically sniffed the air, said, "You smell like my son. You should tell him I say hello."
Right,
Tell him-
that part.
Nab the Torrens in town.
Yeah.
Cut to black.
He also said that he should leave.
This town is full of evil.
The town is full of sinners. So you
Yeah.
should leave soon.
Things are get hot.
Yeah. And
All those
Cort was like,
layers.
nah, fam. Which is actually, and kind of looking back on, it's kind of terrifying because Ronald was saying the same thing.
Nobody once said fam.
Yo, hold up, fam. Let me
Osh is
keep
just
it
giving
100
us.
with you.
He's just giving us his angry baby face. You remember that? You remember that session of Shackled City where we told Austin to give us the angry baby face, and he did. We fucking laughed for like 30 minutes, man.
I think there's a clip of that somewhere.
There is somewhere. Holy shit! I recently rewatched it. I laughed. I still laugh to this day watching it because, like, lip all. It's so good. Okay. All right, let's make it happen. Perfect. The session ended right there.
Oh. Agreed.
I'm like not in the same mindset as watching an entire church burn down in front of me. Forgive me.
You'll get there.
Yeah, you'll get there. Okay.
Do we need to change server regions? Seems like it's a little robot-y.
All right, let's go to Oceania.
All right, we're gonna take just a second to watch this clip because relevance. Come on. So you got to break what, at 26? You said, Balthar?
So
Yeah.
much better
Okay.
to watch on your
27.
Okay, he just got it
when
one
I-
over.
When I break it, can I give him the Forrest Whitaker look?
What's the Forrest Whitaker look?
One eye like half down.
You look like an angry baby right now.
Well, he got to the 30.
I don't remember this at all.
Oh my god.
I don't remember this happening.
Can I give him the Forrest Whitaker look?
Oh!
Holy shit! I forgot about that. Oh my gosh! So good.
That face. Is there a way that I feel like I have to zoom in on that face?
That needs to become an emote.
Yeah, that needs to be an emote. That's the
Oh,
new angry.
Jesus.
We're
The
replacing.
the face itself is I was trying to emulate from Community.
We're gonna get rid of Bubba Rage, and that's
where
gonna be
the hell
the new
did
Rage
you
emote.
get Community and Forrest Whitaker?
Oh,
Can I give him that Forrest Whitaker look? What look?
yeah. Hold
It's
on.
Oh fuck.
We'll saw
such
that
a good
one,
clip.
Jack.
Yeah, it was Troy doing it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He says you gotta give him that Forrest Whitaker look, and then he makes this face. I posted it in the Twitch chat.
What is this face?
It's so
The
good.
So anytime I hear Forrest Whitaker, that's what my mind jumps to.
Just for the record, that is not the face that you made.
Not in the
At
least.
all, nowhere close.
But that was what was in my mind. Was that particular face.
That was what you were going for.
Your mind
Yeah.
lies to you.
Failed spectacularly, but that's what it was for. Yeah, I give him the Forrest Whitaker look.
All right.
I can't believe it was only a year ago.
Yeah,
Jesus Christ.
let's hop over to the club server, and I'll drag you guys in. Hop in casting couch, and I'll pull you down to my office.
All right.
You could just join.
The others
Yeah, I don't
can't.
know why I wasn't thinking. It's been a day.
What the fuck, Christy?
Yeah, sorry.
I saw her jump in there real quick. Like, I'm getting in.
Oh no,
Oh.
much better. There you go. That was the full face.
Yeah, convenient fucking misclick.
Oh my god, it's so loud. Let's just drag that down a little bit. And by a little bit, I mean a lot of it.
It's loud, man.
Okay.
So onwards, upwards, back
Yep.
to. I would imagine we want to go ahead and start this off in the Apotha We Carry Everything.
The wee apothecary. How did you fuck that up? How?
We're never gonna get anywhere tonight.
I don't judge you by anything. Don't judge me for my dyslexia.
Alright, Chromosome Bandit, put it away. Put it the fuck away.
I just don't understand.
I know, in my head, I know it was we apothecary everything. But apparently my mouth and my brain didn't agree on this fact.
They met in the center and had a fucking central ring bout. And it came out as the apothecary. God. That was rough. I had to like replay that and I listened to it. And then I had to replay it in my head like, well, did that just happen?
Red's gonna fucking puke before we even start playing.
This should just be like tabletop bloopers. This whole fucking game should just be tabletop bloopers. All right.
Blooper City.
So, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and make it easy. In the we apothecary everything,
Yes.
Jacob's laid out on a table, just kind of, not bleeding as bad. His assistants laying next to him, burnt halfway to a crisp, like solid Korean barbecue style, also near death. Though oddly, both of them are in that particular state thanks to one man. Fishy. Very fishy.
I thought this man's name was Fishy for a moment. I was like, who the fuck is Fishy? It's like, but did you just introduce a new NPC that I wasn't aware of?
It's just a fish with legs.
He's stuck like this because of Mr. Fish.
No. He just happens to be a really strict follower of Book the
It's actually it's the fish with legs just holding a switchblade in his like fins. Just
Oh man, I'm all giggly now because of your special ass. It's fucking killing me. All right, yes, we will return to the scene of the events that were transpiring at the Wee Apothecary. The door has been left currently open. You can hear the blaze as it rolls out through the town. Some guards will rush by. Some random town-goers will also rush by. It's a building fire. This isn't one of those things where it just happens once in a while. This is something where most of the town reacts, because if this gets out of hand quickly, it could bring about the downfall of the entire town. It's literally a ring in a volcano, and they want everything that they can to prevent the fire from spreading. So, the guards will go and deal with this, what did he say? This petty arson? Yes. It is about this time, Klaus, after you have watched this boy, this Asimar, treat Jenya on this table, that Cort will return.
the other thing is that if the church was still on fire, I think Cort would still be trying to put it out.
How?
I don't know.
How are you going to do that?
Running around trying to help put it out with whoever else is trying to. If the town guard's trying to, you'd be grabbing buckets of water trying to, or like sand. I don't know if because I assume they're going to be trying to put the giant burning church out.
It just depends on various methods. You'll see some of the guards moving up, especially some of the half-orc guards. They'll be moving to the side and trying to bring down parts of the building so that the wind and the whips will not bring it to fall on reciting buildings. Yeah.
Yeah. He'd probably be helping with that, if anything, because of his strength.
Sure, that's totally fine. If that's what you would like to do. What about the rest of you in the apothecary?
I believe I'm going to remain comatose.
Okay.
I mean, unless that's optional.
I wake up.
I mean, last I checked, I was praying over Jacob. I don't think that would have changed, especially right now. I wouldn't be leaving him. I understand there's a fire going on, but I'm disabled in a lot of ways right now, so I don't think I'll be of much help tending to a fire. And on top of that, I still don't trust this man. That's here, so I want to keep an eye on him as much as possible.
That makes sense. So then, Klaus, it seems like they're, unless you guys are just willing to pass time, it seems almost as if it's kind of falling to you. Until the fire is taken care of, Ulhime waits. You see him casting wry glances back at the man, not fully aware of how to treat him, because the call of religion, it falls on everyone differently, and this man is clearly very devout, even if it's wrong for a lot of reasons. You see Jacob lying on the table right next to Jenya, who received all the treatment that she possibly could. What do you do, Klaus? What's going through your head right now?
A lot of very mixed feelings. Obviously, this guy is not of sound mind, at least in my opinion.
Sure.
Given basically the complete polarity of the actions he's just undertaken, attempting to kill one of my friends and then attempting to save another, just strictly based on their bloodline, more or less, or in Jenya's case, her occupation. I certainly don't trust the man, but I've seen that he can be of use and he can be helpful. And at this point, I'm more hoping to get as much information out of him as possible in regards to what exactly he stabbed Jacob with, and if there's any way to reverse it or lessen the effects of it, at least in the meantime, until we can get somebody who really knows what they're doing in here.
Okay, alright, so then we'll open up that dialogue. He's still sitting there, his hands not tied. He's been bereft of his belongings. You guys have removed all of that from him. It looks like most of his armors have been draped off to the side. He's very well outnumbered, even in a situation where most of the town guard have left. That being said, you can tell he... Why don't you mute yourself?
I'm not muted?
No, Austin.
Not me.
It's
Sniper.
Sniper.
Oh, I heard crumpling. I thought
It's
it was
like
Austin
he's
because of
fingering a
Bible.
box of crackers, or I don't even know what the hell is going on over there. Jesus.
It's an interesting night activity you got there, sir.
I was gonna say, after you're done with Will's thing, there is something I did want to do as well.
It's fair. You catch him looking up at you several times, Klaus. You are the person that clearly calls the shots in this group. You can he can see that from a mile away.
Is there something you want? What? Why do you keep looking at me?
I was prepared to ask you the same.
There's a few things I want from you. Your head on a platter would be pretty high on the list, but you're currently of use.
Well, I wish that not of you. I wish no ill will to you whatsoever.
Oh, that eases my mind. If you really wish me no ill will, what was the blade that you used? What did you do to him?
I broke the blade off in his side. It was constructed to harm people of his lineage.
Well, that much is clear, but what exactly was it? I mean, surely you had some idea.
I have some understanding, but part of being what I am has me in the dark on a lot of situations.
Is that?
I'm not allowed to know what this is made of, but I was deigned amidst a few others as restorers of the faith. It's believed that if his bloodline and those that align themselves with his bloodline were to be brought to justice, a true death, then the gates of Celestia will reopen. Angels will be allowed to return. Archons will be allowed to return.
I don't understand why you would be so willing to kill a man while being kept in the dark by the people you trust the most. It doesn't make any sense. And as far as Celestia reopening, I mean, have you been there? Because I have, and frankly, you don't want to go back there. Things aren't going to be restored to the way they once were. The damage that has occurred is simply irreversible.
I have to believe that the opportunity for Celestia to be repaired exists. It's paramount to my faith. And
it's contrary to the truth.
That's yet to be seen.
By you.
So you have all of the answers then?
Certainly not all of them, but again, I've been there. I've seen it.
So how many angels were in your Celestia that you went to?
How many?
Yeah. How many did you encounter?
Angels is a far stretch, but I would say 2 celestial beings that have fallen.
And why had they fallen? Was it by choice or by deitic graces? Were they cast out?
I didn't necessarily stop to ask them. They were not exactly of sound mind.
You keep saying
You
this.
should be familiar with that.
This not of sound mind, as if I am some infantile individual. I believe what I'm doing is right, but at some point, I know that I'm going to overstep my boundaries and learn something. That's part of living. There has to be, at some point, something that you've done that you have regarded as regretful. That you...
Of course. Who
So-
hasn't?
When you met these fallen from grace, these harbingers, these archons, these angels, did you bid them strength and wish them well? Did you help them?
Did what I knew how to do.
The only thing I can immediately see is berate and bludgeon.
That's certainly in my skill set. That's not exactly my first resort. Nor should it be yours.
It's not. It's in my skill set, but it's not my go-to.
Seems to be a little contrary to the way we met.
Let me ask you this. If I had been paid to kill him, would it make me any different?
Depends. There are a lot of circumstances that play into it.
I am to be rewarded. Not that I wish to be rewarded. Not that I seek some title, but that I believe Celestia can be restored. So you could say that I was being paid, if it put your mind at ease. It's just my faith that pays me.
That's not the same.
So then gold is easier for you to swallow. Fine.
In a way.
I'll be handsomely rewarded with gold for the duties that I've rendered.
That's not your motivation, though.
It's not.
Makes no difference to you.
You're right. It makes no
Why
difference.
should I treat you any differently? Just because I know you're being paid in material wages.
Does it make me any different?
It would only make you different if it was your main motivator. I mean, people do things for money because they need to live, because they need people they love to live.
And have you ever wondered why Aasimars walk the plains of Galarian? You know that we're angelic touched. Aasimars,
I'm aware. I had a friend.
Do you know why we walk the plains of Galarian? Because
I never bothered to ask.
angels roam Galarian, and they mate with those lesser than themselves. They create half-spawns, half-breeds, much like myself. Now, am I grateful to be alive? Yes, but existing is pain, it is torment. And the angels should be where they belong. And if they were allowed back into Celestia, the devils would stay in hell, and the angels would remain in Celestia.
They're one and the same now.
Mayhaps. And I realize that what I'm doing, what I have achieved, what I hope to accomplish, may mar me as a devil in your eyes. But to my faith, it's different. Ask him. Faith is strong with you, is it not?
Ulhime, in like the middle of his prayer, kind of just looks up.
You've been guided by your faith. Things that are important to you. You've turned a blind eye to make sure that you have succeeded in your goals. Or have you? You've been completely stoic in the decrees of your God.
I never went out of my way to kill another person due to faith. That's what your God preaches, that's what you want to believe, then that's fine with you. But it's not something I do.
So you've never once witnessed the slaughter of someone that needed protection? You know Helm's your God. I know what he stands for, as he is my patron's brother.
No.
There's a stain that lurks around you in your mind. Something eerily creeps up your arm, but this is different. Something on your mind. You have regrets. You have things that you've done. Batted a blind eye at. I'm not perfect. I may have a very different answer than some of you. But I have an answer. And I had a calling. That's all. I'm not asking you to understand it. And I'm not perfect.
For the record, about my regrets have never been anything to do with letting things happen. It's not being strong enough to prevent it. That was all. As I said, I've never been one to champion a cause of bloodshed. Reasoning, using one's words before the weapon has gotten me quite far.
Ulhime.
Has prevented a lot of blood.
If you would please, give me D20 plus your Wiz modifier, please.
$17.
You're gritting your teeth and you're saying these things to him as you feel this fury that seems to elate under your skin. It just keeps growing like a fire. A bonfire raises inside of you. And as each word trickles from your lips, you keep getting the same image of the Avoral Guardian again and again and again. A trapped servant of Celestia, waiting to be freed, wishing to do the right thing. And you realize that he died. Nay, he was murdered. Now, you can say it was in self-protection.
No, I tried to protect him. That was the whole thing I was trying to get behind. It was one. I mean, it was one of those things that even now he wasn't strong enough to protect him. If he was, he could have prevented. Like, it's something he could have prevented. That's one of his regrets. It still is.
Well,
and even not even being able to help the fallen ascend again. I mean, he doesn't. As of right now, he's not really fully aware of if they pass the trials or not.
Sure.
So.
Sure, that makes sense. But you still can't help but feel as if you may have not done enough.
Mm-hmm.
Even just going, wait, stop. There was borderline mirth in the slaying of the Avoral.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't help but remember that. It probably makes you very angry. Or maybe depressed. I'm not sure. It's whatever your character would feel.
A bit of both. I mean, he doesn't feel animosity towards like the group, but I mean, it's one of those things that he's not letting go of, you know?
Yeah.
Like
sure.
he's
Well, I don't know about that whole no animosity thing. Him and Jakob almost came to blows over it in the hallway. Remember?
True, and like I said, it's not even with the amount of anger that he felt with what happened. It's not something. It's one of those things where he's not going to try to make it about getting vengeance, if that makes any sense. Like, he understands the situation that they were in. Obviously, they were in hell. There was a trial. There was a lot on the line. But what made him mad is that there was no attempt in an alternative. It was just, oh, he's not doing what we asked. We're gonna fucking kill him, and that's what made him mad. Like it kind of threw him back into a place before he became a guard of Cold, like a voluntary guard of Cauldron, where it was. He kind of just signed up to protect a ragtag group of mercenaries for nothing. And that's the sore spot that kind of like hit him with. It was a remembrance of like the past of when he first started out adventuring. And that's not what he set out to do.
It's good.
So that's where essentially it's in any sense that he tries to accumulate power, it's not to become strong enough to overtake someone, but to protect more people behind him, kind of thing. That's where that stems from. That's the only reason he seeks strength or power in that regard.
Okay. I mean, I'm happy with that.
Mm-hmm.
But it is something that wasn't like really cleared up with your allies either.
True, and I mean, given where we were, I mean, we didn't have the time to talk about it either.
Give me 2 seconds. I'm gonna throw up the BRB screen. I have to step away for just a moment. The ladies need me for something.
Okay.
So I'm gonna just mute myself. You guys can still talk to the viewers if you'd like, but I will be right back.
And wash some dishes. Be right back.
Oh God! So he's just going to leave you guys with